Oh, dude, I've been chatting with people all night, man.
Good for you. Get some sleep tonight.
What I've really been tripping out on is the freaking moon, dude.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Well,
That house has an amazing view of the moon.
did you notice while you were looking at the moon how the light is only like around it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Where is
Like it really looks like just a giant nightlight,
It's
you know?
beautiful. It was bouncing off the ocean like a mother. It's seriously illuminating.
Well, that's one of the questions I've been having lately, though.
I wonder if it's because of the eclipse.
Well, I'm talking about its illumination of things. Like, okay, if you have like a flashlight, right? Or any kind of light over like a puddle of water or something, right?
Yeah.
When you get the light closer to the puddle, the image gets much sharper, right?
Yeah.
When you get farther away, the light spreads, the reflection spreads, like everything spreads out, right?
Yeah, it bounces off the.
So, like when we see the reflections of the moon in the water, shouldn't that reflection actually be a lot bigger? Like if the moon's illuminating like half the earth,
I know, huh?
shouldn't like a lot of the water
Yeah.
be lit up?
Yeah, no, it's just that little sliver. Yeah, that's interesting. Never
Or
thought of it that way.
you ever watch the sun like burn through a layer of clouds? Okay, when the sun rays hit the earth, there's the Terminator Line, they tell us, and that's the light versus the dark, meaning that the light is hitting the whole side of the earth, right? So when we see it burn through the clouds like that, when did the sun all of a sudden become a death ray over Southern California?
Right, and it's only burning through one particular
One
cloud.
area.
Yeah.
Like it's a laser beam, you know?
I'll look it up for sure.
Well, the thing is you might want to watch out with that when you start looking that stuff up. Because it'll lead you down a little rabbit trail.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that rabbit trail, dude, I'm pretty damn sure the world could be flat, bro.
I don't think so, but I get your point.
Well, okay, here's another
I
point,
don't
though.
think so. I don't know so, but I don't think so.
You know what?
I've been around that.
You know what? That answer, dude, I'll take any day of the week.
Right.
As long as it sparks an interest to where you start paying attention and start looking at things like, you know what? That isn't quite what we're being told.
Yeah, who knows? We only see what they shit unless we get in a spaceship.
Well, and that's another thing is if you don't think that they could have faked the moon landing, I suggest you go check out a movie called 2001: A Space Odyssey,
Oh shoot! I was in
made by Stanley Kubrick.
Maui about a month ago, and we went up to the top of what's the name mountain? Volcano. It looked like we were on damn Mars. I had never seen anything like that. And I'm like, geez, man, you could have filmed a movie here. That's exactly to your point.
And, well,
It did not look like
Stanley Kubrick made that movie 2001: A Space Odyssey
Yeah.
in 1968.
Oh wow.
A year before the moon landings, dude. So, like, people that go, oh, but they couldn't fake it, give me a break. If you've seen that movie, yeah, there's nothing different between the two.
Yeah, if you go up to what's the name of the damn mountain, man? It's a volcano. Killa. What? Oh, I can't think of the name. It looks like you're on Mars or the moon. It's just no plants. Nothing.
Actually, there's a guy that found out where NASA's keeping all their Mars rover stuff. It turns out that it's in like Canada, dude. Or it's in some like rocky looking place, dude. It's insane.
Oh, there's plenty of places like that.
Because, like at first you could be all like, you know what? Next light, yeah. You could be like, oh well, it's really nothing, except when you zoom in on the trucks and stuff that are parked out there.
California.
It says no. It says it's got the NASA logo and it says Mars Project. Why?
It's in Canada, you said?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was Canada. Water inside of a cup, inside of a, like, in a lake, in a bathtub, in a bottle. What's the surface of it look like? It's level, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why when the lakes freeze over, skating rinks work so well. If there really was a curve, then doesn't it mean the water would freeze curved? That would make hockey games a lot more interesting.
Yeah, it really would.
Right?
Football fields are curved.
Add some curvature to that. What do you mean football fields are curved? Football fields aren't long enough to be curved by the curvature of the earth.
Look it up. I've been on them. Because water would not drain if it wasn't curved.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But I'm talking about a completely different kind of. You're talking about just it's got an elevated level so that the water runs off.
Correct.
See, exactly. The water runs off.
Yeah, slightly.
Okay. Water does not stick to the outside of things. You ever seen it do that? Except for on the globe. Now, technically, that's really not science because science needs to be.
I'm curious.
I drive for Uber.
Really?
I'm disabled, bro. I've been disabled for 13 years.
It sounds like you have a background in technology or.
I was certified as a draftsman before I graduated high school. Went to college with a baseball scholarship.
Really?
For a little while. And then I started getting sick when I was about 20 and a half. Like really, really, really bad.
You had a baseball scholarship?
Yeah, I went to Cal State Northridge.
Okay. How old are you?
33.
Oh, so you had some game if you went to Northridge on a scholarship.
I used to throw like around 90 with a
wow,
killer curveball, and I was a lefty.
In high school you threw 90?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like average, like anywhere from 87 to 90.
In high school?
In high school.
Wow.
As a lefty, yeah. Back then there was two lefties that everyone knew about. They knew about Chucky Tiffany because when he was 13 he helped win the Pony World Series, and me. We were the two harder throwing lefties of our generation in LA County over there.
Wow. That's throwing some bullets, man. BBs rather when you.
Dude, I used to be able to throw it from the outfield fence to home plate on a frozen rope.
Yeah, if you're throwing.
Just on a straight line.
Man, that's some serious velocity.
My grandpa trained me very well.
Really?
The way I used to practice is that we would draw a box on the gym wall, on the outside of the gym, and I would start out at 60 feet and I would hit that box with the ball. And then I would back up another 10 feet and I'd hit that box with the ball. And then I'd back up another 10 feet. Before you know it, I was throwing across the whole blacktop, hitting that box.
Right.
And that was the whole point, was to stretch my arm out to where I could throw on a line all the way across not just the baseball diamond, but the whole field. My grandpa knew how to train.
Seriously.
The weightlifting workout that I did was actually, it's still at his house. It was created by the Cincinnati Reds, and it was my dad's copy when he was training with them. My dad graduated, he signed with the Angels when he graduated out of high school.
Wow. But your grandfather trained you, you said?
But my grandpa trained me. My grandpa's the one that trained my dad, or helped my dad get the training. If my grandpa didn't know it, he found someone who did. But yeah,
That's fascinating. You said you're disabled. What happened?
I have something called pancreatic insufficiency.
What pancreas is? I never heard of that.
Everyone knows about diabetes,
Right.
right? This is like diabetes 2.0 with vengeance.
Really? Oh, wow. Insulin?
I've been type 1 insulin dependent since I was diagnosed with diabetes at 17, which in and of itself is kind of rare anyway. Normally you're either born with type 1 diabetes or you develop type 2 diabetes later on in life. Up until a few years ago, no one really was getting diabetes at 17, 18, 19, 20, 22. But now, yeah, it's more rampant, and it's because of the way that we treat our bodies on a daily basis. We eat too often, and we eat too much of the wrong stuff. No matter what you want to think, your body's built out of whatever you put into it. It can't be built out of anything else. And so, with that being said, how the hell are you gonna build your body out of freaking hot Cheetos and ramen noodles and crap like that? That's like building a house out of freaking Play-Doh. So yeah, you know, getting sick. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that." And you know what, dude? Honestly, probably one of the best things that could have happened to me, dude. Because it would have been cool to be a pro baseball player. But I got a couple of buddies that actually went. And they signed and they went through the whole deal. Minor leagues. A couple of them still play. One of them actually plays for last time I checked, he played for the Yankees. His name was Ian. In like a year. That makes me question everything. And it's stuff that also I've noticed for a long time too. But now that I've realized that the earth could be flat, now a lot of those things that I kind of discounted before are starting to make more sense. Like when I would look up and see the sun and the moon in the sky at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that always freaks you out.
Finally, one day I actually stopped and asked myself, well, if we got both them over here, what's in the sky on the other side? Is it just empty? And so I looked, and it turned out that no, they were looking at a moon too. Because it was, if it's like 10 o'clock in the morning here, it's 10 o'clock at night in like Pakistan.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so.
Did you see North Korea tested a nuclear bomb? Man, that's crazy.
That's another thing. If the world really is a globe, why are we worried about North Korea? They're on the other side of the world.
Well,
But
all the way down.
When you actually look at the flat Earth map in North Korea, they're a lot closer, bro.
They're really close. They're scary. They're relentless, man. I don't know why they're so. God, it's like, man, defiant.
Alrighty, man.
Thank you, brother.
There you go.
Thanks for the education lesson. Drive careful, right?
But yeah, dude, I suggest check it out, man.
I'm gonna check it out. All right, man. Have a good night.
Have a good night, bro.